For the culture, by the culture. This is Creatives Are All Pushing. KAAPcast.
Kunzima kumele sichuze indlimba nibethi big umqondo andinayo ndekulona obophambili even amatrix angendimpasi mhlambe kasi bathi ndom kanti abavojisa ngenkani siyagudla siyaphambili kanti siyagudla siyaphambili siyagudla siyaphambili kanti siyagudla siyaphambili siyagudla siyaphambili hop on the drums, hop on the match, chilling the fun and the funk, different cook, chilling them down, call it bambi.
For the culture, by the culture. This is Creatives Are All Pushing. KAAPcast. And I'm Sonabili Lutango, reporting live from the Float Apparel Street here in Play Street. This one is for all the models out there, all the creatives. And I'm not doing the podcast alone. I have my brother Steven Asimona, Kwaka Kumalo, Vuyo, and my nigga Vice. But this one is for all the models out there. And we have the man that needs no introduction. Alongside me, I have the tall giant, all the way from Congo, Jesse Kabeya. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, my brother.
Easy, my brothers. Easy for me.
How are you feeling, bro?
Nah, we calm. It's a calm, yeah. Nothing too crazy.
Even though the weather is a bit gloomy, but we're out here.
No Cape Town.
For the love of streetwear, we're representing floats.
For real, you know?
Uh,
Sponsorship. Let's go.
let's go. How are you feeling, Steven?
I feel great, my brother. As long as we're right here, we're documenting, we're making sure that the creativity goes forward. That's all I can say, my brother. How about you?
I'm good, dog. I'm good. All is well. I'll leave it up to Jesse for him to do his intro. My brother, can you please tell us who are you, what do you do, and what do you stand for?
I'm just a guy. Kids, guys. I'm Jesse Kabeya. There's a lot that I do. I don't even know what I do, but I try to survive. I manage the float store. I'm a model from time to time, actually independent. Haven't been signed for like 3 years. So for myself, basically, I'm a creative, basically, in the creative space. I'm able to create where I can create. So yeah, I'm just a guy.
Sure,
basically.
Yeah, man.
Just a guy. If ever, like, before you are the big Jesse, the model, doing these runways, if ever you'd be a film director, where would your story start?
If I had to start,
Like,
just
if ever
randomly,
you'd be a film director directing a
Your own
documentary,
story.
your own story, where would your story start?
damn, I would start from the time I was born.
Mm.
Or even just coming into SA, because obviously this isn't home. So from the first, because the only memory I have of coming into SA was me pulling my mom, like her hand when we entering the airplane. I'm like, I don't want to leave.
Crazy.
And now I'm here, stuck up. But yeah, literally from being a kid till now, I feel like it's been a bumpy ride.
Sure.
Blessings all over, but at the same time, we feel like we want more.
Yeah.
When did you move from the DRC to SA?
To SA 205.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a
Still
minute.
young.
it's been a minute.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you left there whilst you were still a youngin' too.
Basically, I was four and a half years old.
Yeah.
205, I was 4.5 years old,
Crazy.
turning 5.
So, do you even remember like any moments at that time?
I don't remember shit. Also, the real reason
Sure.
why I left was because my mom's house burned down back home, so she kind of just like packed up after that. She's like, guys, I need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So like our entire home like burned down, and I was inside the house sleeping while the whole fire thing was going on. My sister was kind of the cause, but I love my sister though. Yeah. So from that moment, my mom didn't want to stay back home, and it was SA bound for real. So I don't have any memory of being in Congo. That's
And
bad.
that happens, bro.
Yeah. So you found SA now as home.
Basically,
Hey, bro.
You
Yeah.
came in South Africa in 2005,
yeah.
and at that time, like, South Africa was declared as one of the most xenophobic states.
Woo, how we went through at that time. Damn.
Man.
So can you please take us through that moment? How was that?
I was a little bit privileged, but I still come from the hood. As in, I stayed in a place that's not necessarily the hood like that, because you could stay in locations, for example, like Langa and Nyanga. There's foreign people or foreigners that live there that had it way much worse. Like those, they were burning guys there. I stayed in Macon at the time, so I wasn't affected too much by it. I could still navigate, you could come across, but like on social media or like elsewhere, like people were going through it. Like there was really people dying. My xenophobic sides were mostly experienced by maybe people being rude to you, like in person or in schools or whatever. Besides that, nothing physical. Yeah. But I'm glad that South Africa is slowly evolving and like things are better now. Like it's more diverse.
Because the thing is like there are stigmas about people who are coming from. Because basically like we are Africans, all of us we are Africans, but when you're coming from now another country, when you're coming to South Africa, they say that nah, you don't belong here, you gotta move back home. Whereas like South Africa, like it's more of a hub now for opportunities to go further as a person.
So like moving from Congo to South you're still young at the time. You mentioned that you don't have any like memories of Congo.
Yeah.
Moving, did you see the difference, the cultural difference between Congo and South Africa? Even though you were still young, did you see it?
Nothing. Nothing. My first schooling experience was even in SA. So, like nothing. Like literally my whole life is here. I only know South Africa. Like I only live around South Africa. I've only lived in South Africa, so I have no experience or no knowledge of how any culture was being dealt with or how it went about in Congo.
So how did you guys like with your mother to preserve your Congolese side?
My mom, obviously she was old at that time, so she dealt quite well with that. I was French speaking when I came to SA5. Completely forgot French. I can't speak French at all. My Lingala side is even like it's fading. Every time I speak Lingala to a Congolese person, they're like, "Hey, don't do that." So again, like she tried to like communicate with me in our home language or whatever. But we are in SA. At that time, I needed to school in South Africa. I needed to learn English, so she pressed English more on me.
And other languages also. Did you ever dealt with maybe Xhosa, Sisulu?
Yeah, actually, I can actually understand Xhosa if you say quite well with Afrikaans as well, and that's always a trip to me because people. I am huge, I'm tall. People always gossip, like they always, hey, that guy. But now they say it in different languages, and I can understand. Trust me, I can understand very well. So I'm always stunned to hear what people. Sometimes it's good, like you will get a handsome compliment, you're just like, thank God. And sometimes it's just the worst things you have ever heard about yourself while you're walking past or whatever. It's just like I'm glad I can understand.
They always say that people always talk. They always talk. Whether you are a pretty guy, bad guy, whatever.
So when does the modeling start kicking in?
To be honest, 2009. I had my first campaign as a kid.
Crazy, big time.
For MTN in South Africa. My sister and I were coming home from school. She was holding my hand. We got off on Salt River Station. So after Maitland, I moved to Salt River. We got off on Salt River Station, walking home. Some guy, I don't know if he liked my sister, but he approached my sister and said, I need you two for a commercial. My sister looked at him and said, no, you're lying. He pressed my sister. He literally walked us home following her. And then when we got home, he took my sister's details, whatever. And then he ended up, because my sister didn't have a phone, he ended up calling my mom. Called my mom, said he need me and my sister for a shoot, whatever, this day, whatever. We get there, my sister didn't make the cut, I made the cut. And that was my first introduction to modeling as a whole. It was an MTN job. like obviously I feel like that guy might have ripped me off as well because he was like an agent.
Yeah.
You know, when you spot someone you want to use and you're like, I can
That's
tell
talent.
the amount is 30K, but I can tell them 20K. Oh, he's also just a kid because we're foreign.
Hey,
So he kind of pulled one of that on me, and then my mom also pulled another one where she just took the whole cash because I was a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first experience.
So, like, with you being a foreigner and also like being exploited, how and exploitation does happen even in this creative industry, more especially with like foreign people, because I've seen it with like labor, where they like the people that are employing people will get someone from like in the Middle East because they're considered cheap labor. You can pay them like a smaller amount compared to your normal South African.
Crazy.
How is that like? Have you ever like been exploited?
While I'm on that, brands, please stop using or please stop paying people with exposure. Please stop paying people with clothing.
Yeah.
Pay people
Same
money.
goes even with those people like who pay DJs for alcohol.
Leave those things because right now we have a bunch of influencers and creatives that all look nice but don't have money.
You're rich
Like
and
real.
famous, like broke and famous.
Like I know a lot of my dudes they look nice but they don't have money, and that's because of you guys. Just pay the guys. Simple
Only
as
the
that.
man.
It's only the man. Leave. We're gonna expose. We got exposure. Like leave that. That's just silly request. Think about it.
So moving on to what I asked, like, have you ever been exploited?
Yeah. I've been paid clothes. I've been paid with exposure. I've been paid nothing. I have like work that I've done with photographers. For example, they would hit you up on some. I have an idea, this and that, or this work that we try and do. Until this date, I haven't seen the outcome of that work.
Yeah, they're using us because of like the dynamics that we don't understand about the industry.
You know what I'm
But when
saying?
it comes to someone else, they will just say, okay, this is the amount you get paid.
Go straight forward. Don't cut corners. You know.
Man, crazy.
So when does then the modeling gigs start kicking, like taking off? Now you're seeing that I'm not being exploited anymore. I'm now starting to see the bag.
When you step in and make a name for yourself and actually want to apply like pressure, there's a time where you work for exposure and then there's a time where you just stop. Then you realize that, hey guys, you gotta pay me. Like I've done all this, for example, I don't do runway shows in SA anymore or in Cape Town. I'll try in Joburg, but in Cape Town necessarily, I feel like I've done everything. I've done every fashion show that I can walk. And the amounts don't increase. So like the guys are not paying
You're
people.
getting growth out of it.
Like shoot.
You know, while you're on the exploitation aspect, there's a question I definitely want to ask because it comes. There's this article I was reading. I just forgot where it was from. How important do you think it is? Because for lack of a better word, the influencer space or influencer industry works side by side or coincides with the textile industry the fashion industry that you're part of. How important do you think, or do you, Jesse, feel as an individual that unions should be made mandatory within the modeling industry as well as the influencer industry to combat this exploitation that you spoke about? Do you as an individual feel that unions are important?
Unions in the sense of income or in the sense of
Union in the sense that everybody who works in a particular agency decides to unionize in order to negotiate better wages or better rates, for example.
Okay.
The same it would be for the mining industry. You understand how there are unions to combat exploitation? Do you think it's important for the fashion as well as the influencer industry that there should be unions to combat?
We need to start because I haven't seen any as of yet, and it's terrible because we're still going through the same things. So that should have happened already. Like we need to be on that. There should be unions for models, creatives, rappers, all of that, everything. like kind of protect the client or protect us, because we need that as well, because we are being exploited.
And sorry for cutting you off, my brother. How do you feel about SARS' new plan to tax influencers?
I don't have any knowledge on SARS. One thing I do know is they took 1,000 off me this past month. Wow, motherfuckers. But yeah, on that note, I don't have any knowledge on SARS actually. But they're doing their thing, eh? Hey, they're going crazy, guys. Yo,
So how have you been navigating now, like working with brands? Like, what are some of the brands that you would say that one represented me?
wow. Float.
Shout out floating.
Shout out. As you're wearing float,
That's my
family.
This is pretty straight.
Short, I'll make the story short. A quick story of how me and Float started. The brand itself started 2015, officially 2016, but Keegan and Matt have been running ever since then.
Yeah.
I met Keegan online
Sure.
first. I saw the brand like tools. Yeah, when they started, I saw them online.
Sure.
And then one of my bros actually got to connect us together because we were orchestrating fashion shows already that time.
Always been in this thing.
Always been, and I was a youngin.
Sure,
I joined a group of 5 guys called 11th Street, and they were all older than me.
Okay.
I've always been the youngest of my friends, and I was like maneuvering in high school, so watching them from afar. And yeah, one of the days they created a fashion show. Keegan came about. He had his Float Apparel brand going, and I was like, wow, I love it. It's a movement. The smart ones, because in the fashion show there was obviously a few talented people that looked like these guys are gonna have a future out there.
Yeah.
And we kind of pushed. Like I took it instantly. I saw Keegan, obviously I saw the brand, I loved it. The next day I messaged him.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, bro, don't you want to do a shoot upcoming or something where I can be involved in? He was like, at first, no, we don't have, but when we do have, I'll contact you. Months went by, I messaged again. Eventually, he did contact me with his first campaign.
Sure.
That campaign, unfortunately, fell at the same time that I had to go write an English exam. So it was basically in November. And that was his first, like, proper campaign.
First official about the brand.
And I've never shot before. I'm trying to be inside a campaign.
Yeah.
I always see these things online. I'm like, yo, God, is it me
How
today?
these things happen?
So guess what I do? I go to school, like I'm about to write English. I'm in grade 10 at this time. I look at the playground, I look at everything. We're about to write. You know where you have to study in the morning a bit. They give you a study time and then small break and then you write. Sure. Study time, when they give us our small break, you know what I do? Shui, I jump over the gate. I left. I was like, I'm gonna go shoot. I get to the set, I have one of the best shoots of my life. Guess what I got paid with? I got paid with food, but I enjoyed it. Food and clothes. At that time, first, again.
And as the youngest, you like,
I'm just trying to be out there. And that's how me and Flo came about. Ever since then, I've been shooting till like 1.5 years ago, where there was actually an opportunity to work in the store, and I was like, who better if not family,
crazy.
So, like, you've worked with bigger brands like your Refuse, your Floats,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that doesn't happen over DMs. There's like a model agency that handles that type of thing.
True.
How do those modeling agencies work?
In the beginning stage, I was signed also to just get an exposure or be seen out there. I was signed for like 3-4 years by an agency called 20 Model Management. Not the greatest of agency, but
Shout out to you guys, but
yeah, you gave me exposure at least. I wanted coins, pay us. But so yeah, I was signed to them. They gave me exposure. They made me known to the scene. I needed that because I needed to be out there, needed to know people. I was quite tall as well, so anything you would send me to, people would notice that I was there. So I made it a norm to do things. And then one of my favorite guys actually in Float passed away, Markham.
Rest in peace, bro.
R.I.P. Markham. Ever since that guy passed away, things were never the same for me in that agency in specific because I didn't work as much anymore. He's the only one who would call me and check out. Like, yo, Jay, you have a casting tomorrow, you have a shoot, be there. Ever since that died. So after that, I was like, I spent a year under that and just doing nothing. I decided since I got the exposure, I got the things I need, and at that time I wasn't working also because I thought modeling is gonna pay it all. 1 year after being out of high school, I was like, no, modeling is it. I tried that whole year, nothing. So yeah, I kind of left that agency and went freelance. As a freelance, how I got brands to connect with me was by just putting myself out there. I feel like I had to force myself to actually get coins, find ways of maybe working elsewhere to make myself presentable. So when I do go to places where these brands or these brand managers, I'm able to be like, yo, hi, you the guy that works at Archive, eh? Look at me, we could do something. You the guy that do that. And ever since then, it's been like that. I've just been handling it like
From
that.
networking
Are
and
there
keeping
any-
these relations.
Facts.
Are there any stigmas like you have faced, like as a person who comes from Congo, like going around like in these creative spaces?
Necessarily with, not necessarily, but also paperwork wise.
Okay.
There's a lot of jobs that I've been denied because necessarily you don't have SA residence or you don't have like things that they're looking for, which is not our fault because if it was given to us, we would get all of these things like easily. So there is certain restrictions as a foreigner to a certain extent, but it's an open field now. As I said, things are getting better. It's getting it's a better place now, so there shouldn't be any limitations upon anyone.
How vital is having a 9 to 5 as a creative, as a model?
Yeah, I won't lie to you guys, it's vital. Because you guys, again, you look nice, but you're broke. So it's vital, like
Get those coins.
Get those coins, guys.
Sure.
Serious shit. Like we need money.
Crazy. Do you feel like in these spaces like we go through like as creatives, do you feel like there are gatekeepers?
Everywhere there's
Yeah.
gatekeepers.
So-
Everywhere. You would be so surprised. There's gatekeepers everywhere, literally. We don't even know where to start.
Crazy.
For example, if us three were the owners of this brand, we would gatekeep it to a certain extent without even like realizing it. We would gatekeep it. Like if I wanted to hire someone, I'll probably hire because I know him, instead of like looking at someone who's coming with a CV and has qualifications for it. So I've seen a lot of brands, even with streetwear brands, the ones that are slowly like becoming bigger or getting. I just see these niggas are just working with their own niggas. Literally, that's what's going on. Like hectic. There's actually people that's qualified to do some of the things that you're being paid for and you're not qualified.
And that's what I've noticed about the scene in Cape Town.
Sure.
If you're not affiliated with the
Certain people.
that are prominent figures currently, because
It's chai.
it's chai for you.
It's chai.
For real.
It's like we all have to ride this one wave that's being ridden. I won't say nothing about it, but there's this one wave that people are riding right now, and it's not cute, guys. Ride your own wave.
But now, like, people are kind of shifting, because I've seen many people, like even the influencers now, they are starting to collaborate more often rather than doing the
Things
influencer
alone.
doing his thing alone. We're now seeing that they're kind
Yeah.
of building the
Don't you-
ecosystem.
Don't you feel like, guys, like, don't you feel like in this gatekeeping thing, don't you feel like there are criteria, in as much as like we'd say like people are gatekeeping certain
They
things?
protect themselves also. They start there. Gatekeeping
How?
also helps protect yourself from a whole lot of bullshit. Because if you're gonna work with people that you actually know, sorry for my language there.
Sure.
If you're gonna work with people that you actually know, it helps you like navigate better. Because you have a relationship instead of just like putting people that you don't know, and now when things go wrong, you're standing there alone because you don't know these people. So gatekeeping, it kind of helps you and plays a default part. So
Sure. What's the other thing, man?
Like, bro,
Sure.
you've been exposed to like a lot of streetwear brands and also a lot of fashion brands, I may say.
yeah.
What's like your top 5?
Top
Not in any
In
order.
Sure.
Are we in Cape Town in South Africa?
South Africa in the diaspora.
Okay, preferably this is my top 5 based on how things are right now and based on the success of these brands.
Okay.
First, I think I'm gonna go with Free the Youth. Ghana brand.
Sure.
Super nice brand. I really love them, especially for how they how they portray themselves and like engage with the rest of the world.
Okay.
I feel like they currently like the leading African streetwear brand at the moment. Second outside with Broke, Forever Broke. These brothers are like, I don't even want to talk too much. It speaks for itself.
Say less, man.
Third, I would go with Ashlax. Yeah, Nigeria. Shout out them. Fourth, no, it's tough. Honestly, one brand that people actually don't look at too much is Refuse. Like Refuse as one of the best quality items that you'll ever find. Like,
even the representation of Isuzu.
Dog, their story is huge. Like people should tap into that. Like Refuse, tap into the like real shit.
Yeah.
Fifth, who can take the fifth place? Float.
Floating. So
Yeah.
here at KAAPcast we have these games where you have to pick one and one must go.
Yeah.
Now that you've picked your top 5,
Ish.
Float or Broke?
That's basically. I'll take myself out there. I'll take myself out. I'll dismove myself.
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
pick between those.
Let's go to Africa. Ashlax or Free the Youth?
Free the youth.
Okay. Refuse or Ashlax?
I don't know much of Ashlax Refuse.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, man. That's
Shout
pretty
out,
much.
shout out. This was lovely.
This was
Oh, like,
Yeah.
Bro.
like, I have a question. Can you please like tell maybe a young who's like want to start out in the modeling industry, like maybe give them advice or like
How they can go.
can they make a career out of it?
To be honest, be hopeful, but don't be unrealistic. You can make a career out of modeling if you want to. I'm saying that with, in a sense of, like, don't think modeling isn't a career, guys. You build a brand through modeling. Like, you are a brand. So don't think now because I'm a model, like that's gonna be my job for the rest of my life. No, you're gonna have to do some creative work. You're gonna have to do some promoting. You're gonna have to tap into other businesses. Modeling won't pay you guys. Rapping won't pay you. Being a cool guy won't pay you. There's other things that help you. If you look at all these top people, they all have things where they tell you, nah, I do this on the side, I do that on the side. So as a young creative starting out, guys, get a hustle. If you have someone to fund your whatever you want to do, that's great. If you don't, get a hustle first. Work at a job for like 2 years, save up some money, raise up something, and then you're able to, navigate. You can go to a casting looking fresh, smelling fine. You can go to a rapping gig or an event, promote yourself good, because best case scenario, what I actually mean is get a job. Like, I understand our careers or what we're dreaming to become, but we need money for that necessarily. No one's gonna pick you up from scratch. No, we don't.
Not nepo babies.
No one's just gonna take you there and be like, so.
Like, modeling is a competitive hobby. I may say, as you said, that you cannot make a career out of it.
Sure.
Like, not that you are counting your eggs before they hatch,
Yeah.
but please give us the 5-year plan.
5-year plan, I won't give you guys too much about that, but I run a brand, which I even forgot to mention. I run a brand called The Giants.
Makes
My
sense.
brother and
Makes sense.
My brother and I currently run a brand called The Giants. He recently relocated to UK a month, it's not a month, it's like 3 weeks. So we plan to register the business because it was registered here in SA, so we plan to re-register it in the UK. We kind of have huge plans for that in the next 5 years, and we kind of want to navigate around that. The Giants for us is a brand that navigates all around the world. It's not just SA limited. So in the next 5 years, I see myself traveling around the world, pushing my brand, pushing things that I need to push, modeling if I need to model, still being the creative guru that I am, pushing floats in different ways. I don't necessarily have to be here. there's many other side things. Also, I don't want you guys to say tax. Hey, I saw what tax did last month. But yeah.
So like, now that you've mentioned your 5-year plan, how do you plan on going into the 5-year plan? How do you execute?
I think you've said it.
Starts by waking up in the morning and doing what you need to do first, because you cannot look at the end run. You need to do what you need to do from today. Me going home properly today, not doing anything dumb, sleeping, knowing that I gotta wake up for work early, arriving on time. Those are the things that actually help you day by day to build towards your plan. Because you wouldn't want to put yourself in a financially incapable place. So you need money at all stage. My long-term goal or short-term goal is to never run out of money. Like, I just want to be earning every day when I wake up. Something must come
in the lifestyle.
Because I can't imagine not earning in this economy that we live in. Because things are tough.
Big time.
Things are tough.
Can you close it?
A word to a younger Jesse
Sure.
or someone coming up in the game.
Yeah. Keep going. People are watching.
That's
People
it.
are watching. Good
People are watching. Keep going. That's it from us as KAAPcast, creatives to the world. This
Shout out
is
to
Jesse
the
Kabeya.
bros.
We out.
Salute. That's
Thank you.
Oh, that was nice.
Thank you, my brother.
Siya phambili siyakudla siya phambili kanti siyakudla siya phambili siyakudla siya phambili hop on the drums, hop on the match